Hello everyone, how are you? I hope you all are well. So here comes the third lecture of our lesson Life Processes class 10, and already we have done nutrition, respiratory system. So this is the third topic, that is the circulatory system. Now as you all are aware that all the organisms including humans have some kind of fluid circulating in their bodies. Now, such fluids constitute two types of system. One is the distributive system, which is used to supply the substances, as well as collective system to pick up the substances to and from the various parts of the body, including the remotest cell. Remotest means which are very far away, not of reach, you can say. Now, in this lesson, we'll study about the circulating fluids in the body, their composition and function. Now, what all topics we'll cover in the circulatory system, because it is a very vast topic. So first lecture we'll take for blood and lymph. In the second lecture, we'll be studying structure and working of heart. Third lecture will be circulation of blood, mainly through the bloodstream vessels entering and leaving the heart, liver and kidney will be required. And at the end, I'll explain you the lymphatic system along with the diagrams, notes and important questions to be asked. Now, first of all, we are going to start the topic blood and lymph. Now, you might be wondering, what is the need for transport inside the body? Yes, there is a need. Every organ in our body requires the involvement of the circulatory body fluids. For example, first of all, the digestive system. It digests and absorbs the nutrients which are needed to be transported to each and every cell of the body. Next is the respiratory system. These are the following system which is inside our body only. They all are connected one or the other way to the circulatory system, or you can say they are totally dependent on it. Respiratory system, what it does, it draws in air and oxygen picked up from it in the lungs has to be transported to all the parts of the body. Similarly, the CO2 collected from the body has to be carried to the lungs to be exhaled out of the body. Now, what is the part of excretory system? All the extra water, excess salt, and the nitrogenous waste such as urea have to be removed from the different parts and has to be sent to the excretory system to be thrown out of the body. Hormones are also connected. How? They are secreted by the endocrine system. Now, let me just brief you the endocrine. What is the function of endocrine? It makes the hormones that control your moods, growth and development, metabolism, organs and reproduction. It controls how your hormones are released, send those into your bloodstream so they can be taken to the other body parts. So here you have seen the need for transport inside the body. Now comes the fluid in our body. Basically, there are three principal fluids. Number one is the blood. Number two, tissue fluid. Third is the lymph. Now, blood contained in the heart, in the blood vessels, arteries, veins, capillaries. These all things I will explain in the next lecture. In this, we are going to cover these tissue fluid, lymph and blood. Now, what is tissue fluid? It occupies the space between the cells and the organs. Next comes the lymph, which is contained within the lymph vessels and the lymphatic organs. Organs are like spleen and tonsils. Now, what is lymph actually? It is a clear yellowish, slightly alkaline fluid containing WBCs. WBCs, you know, white blood cells. Somewhat it resembles like plasma, you can say. And lymphatic system is made up of all lymph vessels and lymph organs, and it is a network of tissues and organs that help to get rid of the body toxin, waste and other unwanted material. I have given it in the very concise form along with the notes and the questions which can be asked, like what are the fluids used in your body and their types. Now here I have shown you one diagrammatic representation of blood and lymph circulation, sometimes asked in the exam. Now, this circulation is basically, it is a representation of relationship between blood, tissue fluid, and the lymph, which I told you are the principal fluid in our body. You can see in the diagram, they circulate in their respective vessels. Can you see they all have, like, heart is there, lungs, and nothing is coming out of it. They are just circulating in their respective vessels between the cells in different organs. From the diagram, it is clear that blood in our body circulates in an closed manner. You can make it out very clearly, like they are flowing in a very closed way. So, such type of blood circulation is what we call the closed blood circulatory system. And in certain animals like insect, you can say, and blood that mostly flows through the open space in the body is that we call the open circulatory system, and their blood flows from heart to the body spaces without any vessels. So that is what we call the open blood circulatory system. Now you see what are the features of blood, as we have started with the blood now. So now what are the features of blood? First of all, it is never stationary. Children, you know, it is a clear fluid, it is a form of fluid, liquid form. So it is always in motion from heart to the arteries and back through the veins. So it keep on moving. That movement I'll explain you in the next lecture, in which I'll explain you the working and circulating of heart. Now, what is the color for it? The color is somewhat thick fluid, bright red. See, one basic difference is it is bright red when taken from the artery, okay, and dark red when taken from the vein. So you might have noticed whenever you go for your blood test, doctor used to take blood from your vein. So you should have seen, you must have seen in that wherever they collect in the syringe or something, it is dark red in color because it is collected from the vein. But actually the blood inside the veins is not blue. It is actually dark red, but we consider it as the blue color for the diagrammatic representation only. Now, what is the volume of it? It is about, in the average adult, human contains 5 to 6 liters of blood by volume in his body. Now, what about taste? It is perhaps, I think you all have tasted our blood, as in case whenever like you got a cut in the tongue or bleeding from the lungs. The blood is slightly alkaline with a pH of 7.3 to 7.45. 7 is neutral, neither acidic nor alkaline. That you all know. Okay, this is what the features of blood are. If the question comes like what are the features of blood, so these 4 points will be more than sufficient. Now comes the functions of blood. Functions, first major function is the transport by blood. Now what all things blood has to transport in the body itself? Transport of digested food from the alimentary canal to the tissues, substances like glucose, amino acids, vitamins and minerals, transport of oxygen from lungs to the tissues. It occurs by the means of red blood cells in the combination of hemoglobin in the form of unstable compound, that is oxyhemoglobin, which on reaching the tissues break up to deliver oxygen, that is Hb, this is for hemoglobin, plus oxygen, it makes oxyhemoglobin. And in case of transport of carbon dioxide, that is done from tissues to the lungs. That means hemoglobin will combine with CO2 and will form carboxyhemoglobin, carbaminohemoglobin. Now transport of excretory material from the tissues to the liver, kidney or the skin for elimination or to render them harmless, so that things will be eliminated whichever not needed by the body. Distribution of hormones also one of the function. It is secreted by special glands directly into the blood. Last point is distribution of heat. Heat, I mean to say, the blood helps in keeping the temperature of the body uniform by distributing heat. Now, protection by blood. What all protection? That also comes in the function of blood. Blood forms a clot, and wherever there is a cut in the vessel, clot serves to prevent. What are the functions of clot? It prevents the further loss of blood and the entry of disease-causing germs. Secondly, the WBCs protect the body from the diseasing. How? By engulfing the bacteria which may have entered the body. Last, it produces antitoxins, antibodies, which neutralize the poisonous substances or kill the germs which enter to your body. This is what about the functions of blood. Next comes the composition of blood. What does it all contains? Plasma, cellular elements. Now in plasma, it is a light yellow colored alkaline liquid, constitute 55 to 60% of blood, mainly consists of water, that is 90 to 92%, proteins 7 to 8%, inorganic salts 1%, other substances as well that you can tell, like glucose, amino acids, fibrinogen, hormones, urea, etc. The plasma from the protein fibrinogen has been removed is called serum. Now next comes the cellular elements, which are also composed in the blood itself. That is, it composed of RBCs, WBCs, blood platelets. We have heard a lot about RBCs, WBCs. RBCs are the red blood cells, WBCs white blood cells, and the blood platelets also have a very major role. Now first we'll discuss about the red blood cells. We can also name them as RBCs or erythrocytes. They are also called oxygen carriers, minute biconcave, flat in center, very small and concave on either sides. They are very small, like about 7 micron in diameter, or the size, see why the size is so small. The size enables the red blood cells to travel through very fine capillaries in the body, where they have to travel in a single file, because obviously RBCs are traveling from one place to another. Now you'll be amazed to hear, like adult human male has 5 million RBCs per cubic millimeter of blood, and adult female has slightly less, about 4.5 million. And the most important constituent of it is hemoglobin. That is the effective chemical constituent. Red blood cells have a colorless spongy body or stroma. It contains a respiratory pigment, that is hemoglobin. It is formed by one iron containing heme and a protein globin. Has the ability to combine readily with oxygen, called oxyhemoglobin. Now it has one, you can say one negative point also. Sometimes what happens, see, carbon monoxide poisoning also takes place. How? Because we know hemoglobin has a very strong affinity for carbon monoxide. Be careful, I am talking about carbon monoxide, not carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is CO2 and carbon monoxide is CO. So it has a high affinity towards CO and forms a stable compound, what we call it as carboxyhemoglobin, that is HbCO. What happens? This cuts down the capacity of blood of transporting oxygen and sometimes may cause death also. So carbon monoxide poisoning may cause due to furnaces burning in small rooms. You might have heard of certain cases during winters, whenever like some guards or some people, they burn chimneys and just keep the door closed just to be away from cold. So what happens? This carbon monoxide mixes with blood and blocks the supply of oxygen and eventually causes the death. Now comes next is what about the life and death of RBCs? See, children in adults, RBCs produced in the marrow of long bones, especially you can say ribs, breastbone, ilium of hip girdle. In embryo, they are produced in the liver and spleen. Children, RBCs RBCs are produced, okay, it is a misprint. It is not RBS, it is RBC. They are produced in the bone marrow of all the bones until 5 years of age. The mature red blood cells have no nuclei, but when they are being produced, they have one. So as they are mature, the nuclei are lost. That is, they become enucleated. The average life of an RBC is about 120 days. You have to note down these points. The old and the weak red blood cells are destroyed in the spleen, liver, bone marrow. In normal adult, approximately 20 you can say 20 lakhs RBCs are destroyed every minute. Now, next topic comes. In the normal adult, approximately it is 20 million RBCs. That was just, I could not see the screen properly. That is 20 million RBCs are destroyed every minute. In a normal adult, 20 million RBCs are destroyed every minute. Now, next comes the one. I have kept one picture also for RBCs, which I have shown you the structure that are slightly concave from the edges. You can see the picture, and they are enormous in number as they have to flow from the bloodstream. So next come, which the constant of blood is, that is WBC. Leukocytes also we can call them. They have a nucleus and do not contain hemoglobin. This is the major difference, that they have a nucleus and do not contain hemoglobin, and about 4,000 to 8,000 per millimeter cube of blood they are present. Based on the shape and other characteristics, they are of two types, basically granular and non-granular. I have arranged for the picture also. You can see the white blood cells. Granular means granulocytes and non-granular are the agranulocytes. And here contains the first picture you can see for neutrophil. It is having nucleus with 3-4 lobes, and there is granular cytoplasm also stained with the neutral dyes. Now, what is the function of this is, it can engulf bacteria. That means it can do phagocytosis, means engulfing a bacteria and any other pathogen. Second one is eosinophils. What is it? It is the nucleus with 2 lobes. You can see clearly in the picture. It has cytoplasmic granules, large and stained dark red with eosin. Okay. The function of this is also the same, engulfing bacteria. It also secretes some toxins. And the main function is it controls mechanism associated with the allergy. In that comes basophil. Basophil, it also have a nucleus large and distinctly lobed. Granule stains with basic dyes. We can stain with methylene blue. And now what are the functions? Functions are, they can release chemicals, that is histamine. You can see from the picture. For inflammation, wide dilate blood vessels, and present in the bone marrow. See, all these three are present in the bone marrow: neutrophils, eosinophils, and basophils. Now comes the non-granular, that means cytoplasm without granule. It is a single large nucleus. You can see in the picture as well. One is the monocyte. It has a large nucleus, kidney shaped is there. You can see kidneys are also being shaped, so that is the same shape. And at the time of infection, site of infection, transport into macrophages. What they do is they ingest germs, also present in the bone marrow itself. And the last is lymphocyte. The function of lymphocyte is to produce antibodies that we'll study further. What are those and what we have to do. And now comes the functions of lymphocytes. First of all, as I told you, that is the same phagocytosis which we studied in the granular one. The process in which most of the WBCs are, particularly the neutrophils, engulf a particle-like solid substance, especially bacteria. Phagocytosis, children, we have studied in the case of amoeba also, which I taught you in nutrition. So that is the same way they form pseudopodia. Now it is a defensive mechanism against disease germs. Abnormal increase in the WBC count up to 50,000 can cause that there is some infection in the body. So basically phagocytosis, it is a form of defense mechanism. They just engulf the particle like any bacteria when comes inside. So they engulf it and finish it off. Second is the inflammation. What they do is they migrate through the walls of the blood vessels by diapedesis. Now, first you have to understand what is diapedesis. What happens? They are amoeboid and can produce pseudopodia, which I told you the same function as amoeba, and with which they can squeeze through the walls of the capillaries into the tissues. See, dia means across and pedesis means oozing out. They ooze out of the cytoplasm. I will show you the picture also. Now, second, you might have seen something like if there is some wound or whenever you got a hurt later on after a day or two, you got a pus. So what is pus actually? It is mainly composed of dead white blood cells together with the tissue cells that are destroyed by the bacteria. What they do is, next is formation of antibodies. These are specially lymphocytes, which I show you. You can see the lymphocytes I told you, function is secretion of body. So this is the lymphocyte and they produce antibodies which kill or neutralize the germs. What is the function of antibodies? They neutralize the germs or poison from them. Introducing weakened germs or germ substances, we call them as vaccine also. During vaccination, they stimulates the formation of particular antibodies, which at a later period would destroy the particular disease causing germ if they enter into the body. Children, there are two things. One is antibody, one is antitoxin. So that also I just wanted to explain you in brief. That is, whenever disease causing germ enters into your body, जैसे ही वो enter करते हैं body में, एक वो poisonous substance बनाते हैं जिसे हम toxin बोलते हैं. और you can say that is a poison. उसके बदले में क्या करते हैं? These lymphocytes, what they do is वो एक chemical substance बनाते हैं जिसे हम antibody कहते हैं, which circulate free in the blood plasma. वो blood plasma में circulate करना शुरू कर देता है. Antibodies are specific to the toxins for which they are produced. Now, for example, they may persist long after a disease and has been overcome. So the person who has recovered become immune to the disease. Like for example, nowadays, like corona is going on. If a person is having corona, then likewise, and if he recovered by whatever medicines are given, so what happened? Now the patient would become immune to that disease. This is the underlying principle of vaccination. That is what we are making vaccinations from. If we are having vaccination of a particular like whatever disease is there or whatever viral infection, so we will not be affected by that. So this is the basic principle of vaccine or antibodies or antitoxins, whatever. These are the relations between them. Like they act as antitoxins. What they do is they neutralize the poisonous effect of toxins which enters by any source, by our breathing or by our mouth in the body. Which I told you, this is diapedesis. This picture you can see, it is a white blood cell oozing out of the blood vessel. You can see from the cytoplasm how it is oozing out, this lymphocyte. They produce antibodies also. You can see the picture. Now, same is with the case. We'll study the origin and the life of WBC. That is, they are produced in the red bone marrow, okay, lymph nodes, and sometimes even in liver and spleen. These are also lymphatic organs. Lymph, as I told you earlier also, what is lymph? It is it's a clear yellowish, slightly alkaline fluid. They contain WBCs. So sometimes they resembles like plasma also, and network of tissues. So they are sometimes even in the liver and spleen. Okay, now their average lifespan is about 2 weeks, not more than that. Neutrophils live only for a few hours. About 125 billion neutrophils are produced each day. Can you imagine? 125 billion neutrophils are produced each day. Okay. Leukemia, cancer, आप लोग सुनने हुए हैं, you all are familiar with the cancer. So that is the cancer of a tissue in which WBCs increases many fold. जो WBCs हैं आपके बॉडी में वो बहुत ज्यादा इंक्रीज हो जाते हैं. That is not required at all. So it usually a fatal disease. Fatal means we cannot control it. That is not our hand once it is out of order. Next is leukopenia. That is the abnormal decrease in number of WBCs. That is also a type of abnormality. Okay, the last part comes the blood platelets, which I told you we were studying those three parts in the composition of cellular elements. Cellular elements, one was RBC, WBC we have done. Now comes the blood platelets. See, these whatever points I have written, they are very concise. You can learn as it is in the form of notes, and in the questions also, the questions will come in the same manner. Sometimes they may ask for blood platelets, they may ask for the composition of blood, what are the features, what are the functions. So everything I have given in the form of notes. You can get it from here. So blood platelets, okay. What they are, blood platelets, we can call them also thrombocytes. They are the initiators of clotting of blood. Very minute, oval or round structure, non-nucleated. Okay, this is an important point. We have to just keep in mind whichever are nucleated, whichever are non-nucleated, and they keep on floating in the bloodstream. About 2 lakhs to 4 lakhs per cubic millimeter of blood in an adult. Platelets are derived from some giant cells. We call them as megakaryocytes. And what is the major function of this is, for these blood platelets, they are very important in the clotting of blood. The major function of these blood platelets are, they help in the clotting of blood. That is what I told you in the first point. They are the initiators of clotting. If the blood platelet count falls in your body, that means you're not able to recover your wound very early. It will take time, and by the time lot of blood loss will be there, and that will be severe for you. What happens at the site of injury? Platelets disintegrate to release the chemical substances that I'll explain you again with the help of flowchart and diagram how the blood clotting is done. Okay, with the help of chemical substances, that is thrombokinase, and initiate the process of clotting of blood. Now, you can see through the flowchart. I will explain you. You keep an eye what happens. Now, like when a blood vessel is cut, okay, here it is written injured tissue. What happens? The injured tissue cells and platelets, they disintegrate at the site and release a substance called thromboplastin. Now, this thromboplastin or thrombokinase, both are same. They act as enzyme with the help of calcium ions. Here it is written, calcium ions. With this help present in the plasma, it converts the substance to prothrombin. You can see it, prothrombinase and then prothrombin. Thrombin in the presence of calcium ion react with fibrinogen of the plasma and converted it to fibrin. You can see here, prothrombin, fibrinogen, and then fibrin. Fibrin is a solid substance that forms thread. Now this fibrin forms the thread. These microscopic threads of fibrin are sticky and form a network of the wound. You can see the picture also. Damaged blood vessels are visible. Formation of platelet plug, how it is done. Okay, see how the activated platelet is there. You can see the fibrin mesh, which is making a clot. These blood vessels are trapped in the network of the fibrin, and the network then shrinks and squeezes out. See, some people say that it is just because of like it is exposure of blood to air. So no, it is not the exposure of blood to the air. It is the clotting that can be caused by the movement of blood over a rough surface. So don't take it as like this. This is just because of blood platelets only. Now, one more topic is there. in a short, I wanted to just explain you that is blood transfusion, and blood groups are also there. Sometimes this question may be asked. Now, what is blood transfusion? See, injecting blood into the body of patient undergoing operation or any other surgery, that is what we call blood transfusion. Blood is taken from a healthy person, and that person is we call donor, is introduced through the vein of the patient. We know that whatever blood we give for testing also, or if it is injected in the body, that is done through the veins because it has oxygenated blood. Now, kind and type of blood to be transfused should be compatible with the receiver. Receiver is the recipient who is receiving the blood. That also we have to be like, we should know that what all blood groups the person or the patient can take. So for that we have a ABO system. According to the ABO system, human blood is classified into 4 types. I think you all are very well aware, that is A, blood group A, B, AB and O. Besides the transfusion of one's own type of blood, A to A, AB to A, AB to AB, and other possible transfusions are there. For that, children, I have made this chart. You can see what all blood groups can have these groups and what, from which blood group person they can receive it. So that you can see for your understanding. And if any type, I don't know, like sometimes they may ask, but not regularly. So this is for your understanding, like what all they can receive and how much to whom they can donate. So this is it for today's lecture. In the second topic of the same topic, circulatory system, we will study about the structure and working of the heart. You also go through the topic and I'll be sharing you the notes, as well as will be explaining what are the questions to be asked. This will be very helpful for you because either from CBSE or ICSE, everything, what are the topics I have covered, nothing else will come out of it in case of blood and lymph. So that is what for today. In the next lecture, I'll be explaining you structure and the working of heart. Thank you so much.